It's with deep gratitude we have submitted the powerful Nama of Bhagwan, Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar, for the sake of the ailing people, that Bhagwan's grace be with them and bring them back to normal life. We have been reliving the experiences of the devotees, and in so doing, we have come to taste the very tasteful grace, the divine grace of divine Guru Maharaj. So it's an opportunity for all of us to substitute ourselves in the place of those devotees who have had these experiences, so that these experiences will become ours also. It's one thing to hear about it, it's entirely another thing to relive it, to live it. It's only while living it, it becomes your own. So once again, it's an opportunity given to us by Bhagwan. We shall see people know that Bhagwan had been helping people in different circumstances, in different ways. I think it was in 1980. One devotee had come from Kanpur. He came to Bhagwan's Sannidhi Street house. He was very devoted, and with folded hands, with great devotion, he said, "By Acharya's grace, I have been transferred from Kanpur to Chennai." Bhagwan said, "Which Acharya?" He said, "Swami, you are my Acharya, and it is by your grace I have been transferred, because last time when I had come here, I prayed to you for this transfer, because I started to build a Vinayaka temple, Ganapati temple, in the premises of Labour Institute. And I could not complete it because I was transferred. I so much wanted to be back here to complete this. So I prayed to you, and by your grace, I got this." Then Bhagwan said, "Oh, this beggar is no Acharya, my friend. Please do not call this beggar an Acharya. Acharya is Kanchi Paramacharya, Sringeri Acharya." He mentioned another name of Acharya from Bengal. "This beggar is a dirty beggar. This beggar is a sinner. He is no guru to anybody. He is no Acharya to anybody." And then this Kanpur man said, "Swami, whatever you say, for me, you are the Acharya, and you have to bless me further so that I will be able to complete this temple, and that we could celebrate the consecration ceremony." Then Bhagwan burst out laughing. to complete this temple and that we could celebrate the consecration ceremony. Then Bhagwan burst out laughing. He would test people in different ways. He would want to see how they would react to his declaration that he is only a sinner, a dirty beggar. Now Bhagwan said, you would be able to complete it very well and you will celebrate its consecration ceremony in a very grand manner and the temple will come up so well. And what was more, he put his hand deep into his pocket. People would have noticed it, people who moved with him, how he would put his hand into his pocket and pulled out one 10 rupee note and said, this is this beggar's offering to Shri Ganapati. Now this I narrated in continuation of yesterday's topic, Bhagwan's connection with Shri Ganapati. Yesterday I told you that Shri Rajini Krishna with Shri Ganapati. Yesterday I told you that Shri Rajini Krishna had come to Tiruvannamalai and she had displayed all her paintings there in a house opposite to Sudama, and how Bhagwan made one devotee, Amar Jyoti, go and buy a picture of Shri Ganapati and blessed it nicely and gave it to her for daily worship. And for Amar Jyoti, Bhagwan was Ganapati. Bhagwan is Ganapati, and this was his gesture, his way of saying that he is none other than Shri Ganapati himself. And what is more, Ganapati is always referred to as Pillayar in Tamil. Pillai means child. Pillayar is a term spoken with respect. And Bhagwan calls himself God child. So when we say Pillai, it is only Ganapati. And Ganapati is God child. Pillai to Lord Shiva, Pillai to Ishvara. So Bhagwan in another way indicated that he was God child, he is God child himself, like Pillayar. This I narrated in continuation of the yesterday's topic because I just remembered this. Now we shall see how in the early days of the ashram, we all know that how Shri Janardanan and some devotees of Bhagwan together, they worked so hard to procure this land for Bhagwan. And after that, there came a time when Bhagwan introduced a change. Like when you observe Bhagwan's life, you would see that at every stage, somebody would come, do their work, and go away, and then another person would come and take over, and he would be there as long as it was possible, and then he would be replaced by someone else. This we have been seeing. Each one would come and do a specific work at the specific time. So the time came in 94 that Sri Mani, N.S. Mani, was appointed by Bhagwan as trustee, and he told us some humorous incidents that took place. I can narrate one, a very, very interesting one. Shri, when he came to Tiruvannamalai first time, that he had been coming to Bhagwan, visiting him in Sannadhi Street house, he and Rajalakshmi, his wife. They had come several times to Sannadhi Street house. But after Bhagwan shifted to Sudama, they came, visited him. Little did they know what was waiting for them. Mani had no idea, absolutely no idea, he was going to stay in Tiruvannamalai and serve Bhagwan in full capacity. But at the time when he had come, he saw the devotees standing outside Sudama in a long queue in the burning sun. He wanted to do some seva to Bhagwan, so he put forth, said, Bhagwan, if Bhagwan permits, I would like to put up a pandal there so that the devotees do not have to be in the sun. Bhagwan said, oh, Mani wants to serve this beggar. He smoked a little and then he said, Mani, if you want to do this, you have to agree to what this beggar says. You have to stay in Tiruvannamalai and do this work of Pandal. And what is more, you have to meet all the expenses. Mani happily agreed to. It was a fortune for him to be allowed to serve Bhagwan. So he happily went about that. He said, yes. It's like what they say, he came but to stay. So he continued to stay, and then the pandal was complete, and then the scenes changed, and soon he found himself serving Bhagwan, the construction work of the ashram, and then he became a trustee. But then, you see, he had come from the social life in Chennai. He had no idea he was going to come to Tiruvannamalai and serve someone like Bhagwan, an unpredictable jnani. But once Bhagwan, when he had come to Bhagwan, Bhagwan suddenly declared, my father says that Mani would build a temple, would build temples for this beggar. He was shocked. Now it became very difficult for him to adjust to this life in Tiruvannamalai. He was fond of non-vegetarian. And here in the ashram it was very simple food and very sattvic food. And he had to get used to the food habits of the ashram. Bhagwan was very strict about it. Inside the ashram, no non-veg. So he agreed, he got used to it. But then there was a craving in his mind. And then one day when Bhagwan was giving darshan, he thought, Bhagwan said they could have it outside in any house, but not inside the campus. So he thought, there's no harm in getting something. At that time, he was made to stay in what we call Mapillai bungalow. That is a little away from the ashram. It's between Sudama and the ashram. So he was staying there in a small portion. It was easy for him to come to the ashram every day and work. So he thought, okay, he could get it, he could eat it in his place in Mapillai bungalow. So he asked one of the workers to get some chicken biryani. and keep it on his table around 11:15, so that 12:15 he could go and have his lunch there. Little did he know what was awaiting. And of course, there was nothing Bhagwan did not know at all. Though, of course, he didn't tell Bhagwan. Bhagwan always knew. Whatever was happening in the ashram, he knew instantly. Now that day, when Bhagwan was going back to Sudama, he called Mani. Mani, this beggar would like you to come to Sudama now. So Mani thought, okay, I would go and see him and then come back. Maybe it'll be a little late. That doesn't matter. My lunch would be waiting there for me in Mapalli Bungalow. I could have it a little leisurely. So he came to Sudama, and then as soon as he entered, Bhagwan called him near, made him sit by his side, and took his hand and put it on his lap, his own lap. And then said, Devaki, this beggar would like to have lunch with Mani now. Can you serve lunch? Immediately I started. You can imagine the state of Mani. All the time he was dreaming of the chicken biryani, and here Bhagwan held his hand in his grip. And what was more, Bhagwan was making comments like this: oh, this beggar is blessed with the company of Mani today. This beggar would like to spend some time with Mani. It's a blessing to this beggar. So he was playing his lila, and Mani had no choice. After lunch, he thought, okay, it doesn't matter. When Bhagwan leave me, I could still have it, at least a little. Then Bhagwan would not leave him till 4 o'clock. At that time, we did not know why he left him at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock he said, Mani, you have blessed this beggar by your company. Now you can go attend to the work. And then Bhagwan said, Mani, you don't go to the house. You have to go straight to the ashram and start working. So you see, he could not go to the house. And then once he went to the ashram, he got absorbed in the work. And by the time he came back, it was late. And even then, there was still this thought, okay, let me see. It may be very cold, but it may still be worth having. So when he came into the house and looked there, the packet was there, but there were so many ants. And when he opened the packet, he saw only 2 pieces of bones. There was nothing else remaining. The ants had a feast. So Bhagwan timed everything so well that by the time he returned to the packet, there was only this paper and the ants and 2 pieces of bones. And then he knew that you cannot play games with Bhagwan. And how Bhagwan played that lila all the time, saying, I am blessed, this beggar is blessed, the company of Mani. He knew how he was blessed. And then Mani said that this craving left him after that. So you see, it's coming to, he was a social man, attending parties, living a very social life. So he had developed habits. He never imagined he was going to come and serve Bhagwan. And then every habit had to change for him, a transformation. While serving Bhagwan, he had to go through forcefully the transformation. It was painful, very difficult, but then none of us have any choice with Bhagwan. Raman Maharishi says, finding a guru, once you become a disciple to a guru, It's like entering the mouth of a tiger, a prey in the mouth of a tiger, and the tiger would not leave the prey until he finishes it, until the tiger finishes the whole thing, like those two pieces of bones. So that is it. Coming to a guru, serving a guru amounts to that. Being in the mouth of a tiger. Bhagavan would bless us nicely, nice things will happen, we would be very happy, there would be no deep disturbances, but there will be difficulties, there will be sufferings, there will be many, many conditions that we have to go through. Because while giving us work, he would also be shaping us, giving us a push towards God. So for the transformation that we have to go through under the watchful eye of a guru, these are all necessary. I remember another incident. There was a boy, one of the workers had brought his boy, and the work was going on vigorously. The bar bender had come, and they had put the iron rods in fire to bend them to certain shapes. So when this boy was standing there at a little distance away and watching the whole thing, suddenly a piece of iron, it burst out, it cut off, and a piece, it was fire, a burning iron piece, it came flying towards this boy and hit him on the chest. The boy was frightened, he was terrified, and when it hit the chest, he fell unconscious. And Mani immediately was making arrangements to take this boy to the hospital. And while this preparation was going on in the campus, the premises of the ashram, Bhagwan, who was sitting in Sudama, he told me, Devaki, this beggar has to go to the ashram now. We can send word for the car. So immediately the word got around, and Mani had to send the car. He was thinking of taking the boy, but then Bhagwan had asked for the car. And then Bhagwan landed there, and immediately he went to the child. You see, the child was going to be taken to the hospital, but Bhagwan stopped it very cleverly by asking for the car and landing there when nobody expected him. So he stopped all those preparations to go to the hospital, came straight to the boy and touched his chest. He kind of stroked it, pressed it, and then he touched the head of the boy also for a little while. And then after some time, the boy got up. Bhagwan made him stand up and walk a little. And then he said the boy would be all right. The boy's father, who had brought the boy, little expected all these happenings, and now that Bhagwan was there with the boy, and the boy was able to get up and walk, his eyes were streaming tears. He was very grateful, happy. Everybody felt the security of working under Bhagwan. All those workers, every one of them felt the grace from Bhagwan. Later, whenever we met, whenever we ran into one of them, they would have something or the other to say about the grace of Bhagwan, how Bhagwan helped them in their times of difficulties. that Mani Rajalakshmi's daughter-in-law, the second son's wife, was pregnant. The time came for delivery. And of course, Bhagwan would not give permission to Mani. He had told him strictly not to leave Tiruvannamalai for anything. So Mani could not go even when his mother died. He was the eldest son. He had to do some rituals, but Bhagwan did not allow him to go. It is only his brother who did that. And even for the marriage, he was not allowed to go. Only Rajalakshmi was allowed to go. And now the daughter-in-law, now it was time for delivery, and Rajalakshmi also did not go. She was here, and then they were phoning up often and saying that it was a little complicated. The doctors had said that cesarean had to be done. But Bhagwan told them once before that she would have normal delivery. But then news after news after news kept coming. In fact, Mani asked his sister, who was a nurse, to go and be with daughter-in-law. She also said the condition is such that she has to go through only cesarean. So till about 3:50 p.m., that is in the afternoon, the news kept coming that they were all preparing for the cesarean delivery. All preparations were going on. And naturally, Rajalakshmi, the mother, was very restless, and she was also praying to Bhagwan. Bhagwan had assured them, but despite that, it's only in the nature of human being to worry. Otherwise, we would be great masters ourselves. Now, she was worried, and then they were expecting. Bhagwan was saying normal delivery, but then the preparations were all going on for cesarean, and the doctor was going to move in any time and start the cesarean. They did not know how to handle the situation. Rajalakshmi was very restless, and within minutes, they got the news the child was born. When preparations were getting ready and the doctor was going to come and start the cesarean, the news had come that she had delivered the baby, and it was normal delivery, just as Bhagwan spoke. In a place, there will be miracles all around. Just as Bhagwan spoke. So there are ever so many incidents that happened when a Mahatma lives in a place. There will be miracles all around. The suffering will be much less for the people around. This is what Bhagwan himself said. And so we see that the grace would be working on us all the time. At the same time, we have to go through sufferings also, because the joys and sorrows of life come to us according to our past karmas. We would have done some good things, we would have done some bad things also. And then that score, it's a debt. If we have spoken a word of praise about somebody, it's a debt. That word of praise will have to come back to us sometime or the other, from somebody, not necessarily from the same person. And if we had spoken ill of somebody, we have to settle that account also, that debt. The same word would come back to us at some time in life. They usually do when we are most vulnerable. So the joys and sorrows of life are normal, but when we have submitted ourselves at the feet of a guru who is a realized soul, who has become one with God, he would see that the suffering is mitigated. Sometimes they may even remove it altogether, it's left to them. But they would do it only in their way at the time chosen by them. It would not happen the way we expect, and nor would it happen at the time we want it to happen. A guru is kalpataru, no doubt, but with the difference. Ordinary kalpataru, the kalpataru of the divine kalpataru of Devalok, it would give whatever we ask for. But the kalpataru, that is Guru, will give only what is necessary for us, for our spiritual growth. Because once you surrender, once you come to the feet of the Guru, your spiritual life is finished. The end is assured. In fact, once Bhagwan, a book had come, a new book, brand new book had come, and Bhagwan wanted, I and my friend, the two of us had gone there. He gave the book to me and asked me to read the last chapter. We were all wondering, because you start from the beginning, any book. But Bhagwan did only the reverse. He started, he said, you read the last chapter. So I read the conclusion of the book, and then Bhagwan said, oh, the conclusion is made. Now we shall begin from the beginning. So it was not just a comment on book reading. This is what happens in life also, because our life is already a finished movie. Things happen according to the grand plan of the divine. And there is no way we can change anything except by prayer and appealing to God's mercy. When we chant the name of God and appeal to His boundless compassion with prayer, then there is a possibility of change. Otherwise, things would go on according to the plan of God. Bhagwan used to say, I think I said day before yesterday, there is really Chitragupta. There is an accountant, a great accountant, a subordinate of the Lord of Death, Yama. This Chitragupta keeps account of everybody. He is a giant computer storing all the information about all the people, all the creatures, not just people. So things would go on accordingly, according to the grand plan of the divine. But when we have someone like Yogi Ramsuratkumar's grace, we have his name. And he has assured us several times that mere calling out the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar, help will be rushed to us. By Father, we would get help, guidance and protection. So all that we have to do is appeal, offer our prayers at His lotus feet, and beg and beg and beg, until the moment comes when He would think it fit to intervene and change everything. Bhagwan used to say in 99, there will soon come a golden period for India, and a dharmic life would start. Rama Rajya would come. So somebody asked him what was Rama Rajya. He said, people would not forget God. Now people live the way they want, the way their mind dictates. But then in Ramarajya, people would follow the dictates of their conscience. They would remember God and offer all their activities, do all their activities in the name of God, and they would keep offering them to God. This is Ramarajya, he said. For that Ramarajya to come, we may have to go through situations like this today. It is the collective karma of the world that had invited the present situation because people had lived the way they wanted, justifying whatever they did, the cruelties, the violence, the enmity, the competition, the killer competitions, the kaleidoscopic frenzy of people had brought us to this situation now. The only relief is Bhagwan's grace. And to invoke this grace, we have to keep chanting his name as much as we can and pray and pray and pray and wait for the moment of grace. The grace is already flowing all the time, but then no matter how much is the wind outside, you have to open a window or a door for the air to come in. If you have closed, if you live in a closed room, no matter, even if there is a storm outside, no wind can enter unless you open a window or a door. And for that window or the door is our remembrance of God, our chanting his name, our prayers. So let's appeal to Bhagwan, who simply sat in Sudama and knew instantly when the boy was hit on the chest by a burning piece of rod. He knew instantly and he came running. And he did whatever was needed. Now that Bhagwan is here, even now, in front of us with his raised hand in benediction. So let's appeal, submit our prayers at his feet. Bhagwan.